Here's it's Harley Flanagan from the Cro-Mags. Harley, you've changed a little bit. You've grown some hair. You're turning metal now or what?
Well, I wouldn't call it that. I'll just say that I've grown some hair since you've seen me last. But, yeah, no, other than that, things haven't changed that much.
All right, seriously. I mean, people know you from the past, of course. Age of Quarrel, Best Wishes. Cro-Mags always have been known as one of the classic hardcore bands in the past. Maybe let's talk a little bit about hardcore itself. Can you still identify with that scene?
Well, I still identify completely with what it stood for as far as when it began. But I think that just like any other thing that starts off like kind of like punk rock did or and hardcore did, it was kind of like a retaliation of what was going on around it. So, and I think sooner or later when those kind of things eventually become a cliche in themselves, then the style and the mood and the whole thing about it that made it special kind of becomes, you know, an imitation, you know. People are pretending to like to be part of something that was already pretty much dead when they first heard about it, you know. And I'm not saying that the music ain't happening and shit, and I'm not saying that the spirit ain't happening. I still believe in everything that the feelings that we had when we were there. But I don't think that those feelings can be reenacted or retold or re-experienced by anybody who wasn't there to begin with.
All right, so let's put away the past and concentrate
man,
on what you're doing now. There's a new album out called Alpha Omega.
Yeah.
And behind us, this is the original album cover artwork.
It obviously looks a little bit different on the album cover, but yeah. It's a friend of mine named John Pinuelos did the painting. He also did the other paintings that are inside the CD cover and on the back of the album.
It has taken you quite a while to record the new album. I mean, since Best Wishes, it's
a
almost 3 years.
Yeah, we had a lot of things to work out. We were on a record label that was giving us a major shafting. You know, they could probably sue me for talking about it because that's the way things are. They're that corrupt and that whacked. But the fact of it is, one true thing that is the only thing I have to say for anybody to be able to understand what I went through is we never got one check ever. I never received 1 penny, and this is a fact, so I can say it. I guess it's not a crime to say what's true. You know, at least America's supposed to be free, so I should be able to say whatever the fuck I want. But we never got a check for Age of Quarrel or for Best Wishes. We never received anything. Now, if there were checks being given, they were being given to someone else, but they weren't being given to the band. But at least we have a new record label. It took us a long time. We had to go through some legal things to get off profile and blah, blah, blah. But now we're assigned to a German label that does predominantly death metal. They're called Century Media.
All right, so let's talk about the music. I think it's safe to say that it sounds different from Age of Quarrel and Best Wishes. One thing that
you better believe it, man. We're not such cliche motherfuckers that we're going to keep putting out the same album over and over again. I leave that for amateurs. Nah, if people want to stay doing the same thing because they like to, fine. And I think that Best Wishes contains a lot of that may have sounded wrong. Maybe I should put that differently. But what I'm saying is that I think that all 3 of our albums have a lot in common with the roots that they came from. But like I said about punk rock and all that other shit, is it wasn't a cliche when it started. And all the great bands of history, at least the ones that I like, have not stuck to any rules. They have grown at their own rate and at their own pace. And if people want to keep regurgitating their fucking dinner from 10 years ago, that's fine. You know, I choose to not listen to the same record that I was listening to every day for the last 10 years. I still like all that old stuff. I just don't find the time to imitate it because, like I said, if you were there, you don't have to imitate it. That's what makes the difference between bands that set the pace for other people and bands that follow the pace that was set. Now, the Cro-Mags are not afraid of taking chances musically because we're doing it mostly for ourselves.